The city was unusually quiet that night. The hum of distant traffic and the rhythmic tapping of drizzle against the pavement filled the air. Arjun pulled his coat tighter around himself as he stepped out of his office building, his footsteps echoing against the empty street. It had been another long day, one that left him weary, craving nothing more than the solitude of his apartment. As he approached his car, parked beneath a flickering streetlight, he noticed a figure standing near the bus stop across the road. A young woman, her silhouette barely visible through the mist, clutched her handbag close to her chest. There was something about the way she kept shifting on her feet, glancing around as if searching for something or someone. Arjun hesitated. She was clearly alone, and at this hour it wasn't safe. He had almost convinced himself to drive away when she suddenly looked up and met his gaze. "Excuse me," she called out, her voice carrying over the rain-dampened street. Arjun stopped mid-step. Up close, she was striking, dark, expressive eyes filled with hesitation, her damp hair clinging to the sides of her face. She was beautiful, but there was something else beneath her surface, a quiet urgency. "Can you drop me home?" she asked, her voice softer this time. "I missed my bus and my phone died." Arjun studied her for a moment, weighing his options. She didn't look like someone who made a habit of approaching strangers. Her fingers curled nervously around the strap of her bag, and he could see the slight tremor in them. "Where do you live?" he asked. She hesitated before answering. "Not too far. Just near Carter Road." That wasn't far from his own place. Still, he wasn't in the habit of offering rides to strangers. "No cabs around?" She shook her head. "I tried. No luck." Something in her tone made it clear she wasn't lying. Against his better judgment, he unlocked the car and gestured toward the passenger seat. "All right, get in." She exhaled, relief washing over her face, and hurried inside. As Arjun started the car, the scent of rain mixed with something faintly floral surrounded him. The drive began in silence. He cast a sideways glance at her, watching as she stared out the window, the passing streetlights illuminating her profile. She looked lost in thought, her fingers fiddling with the hem of her dress. "So, rough night?" he finally asked. She gave a small, mirthless laugh. "You could say that." The weight of unspoken words hung between them. Arjun wanted to ask more, but something told him she wasn't ready to talk. Then, just as they turned onto a quieter stretch of road, she spoke. "Actually, would you mind if we don't go straight to my place?" Arjun glanced at her, brows furrowing. "Where do you want to go?" She looked at him then, eyes unreadable. "Just somewhere else for a while." And just like that, the night took an unexpected turn. Arjun hesitated but kept his hands steady on the wheel. The city lights faded as they turned onto a quieter road, the hum of the engine the only sound between them. "You're not planning to rob me, are you?" he asked, trying to lighten the mood. A small smile ghosted across her lips. "If I were, I'd have picked someone who looks a little less serious." He huffed a quiet laugh. "Fair point." Still, curiosity gnawed at him. Who was this girl? And why was she so reluctant to go home? Minutes later, they stopped outside a small cafe, one of those hidden gems that stayed open late. The neon sign buzzed faintly above the entrance, casting a soft glow on the rain-slick pavement. "You like coffee?" he asked as he cut the engine. She nodded, already reaching for the door handle. "Coffee sounds perfect." Inside, the cafe was warm, a stark contrast to the chill outside. The scent of roasted beans and vanilla lingered in the air. They found a quiet corner, away from the few other patrons scattered around. Arjun ordered 2 black coffees, and when the waitress left, he leaned back, studying her. "So," he said, "are you going to tell me what's going on?" She traced a finger along the rim of her cup. "It's complicated. I've got time." She exhaled, eyes distant. "I had a fight with my family. A bad one." Arjun remained silent, giving her space to continue. "My father wants me to marry someone I barely know. Someone who looks good on paper, someone from a respectable family. But I don't love him. I don't even like him." Her voice wavered slightly, but she kept her gaze steady. "I refused. Things got ugly. My mother cried. My father yelled. I just couldn't take it anymore. So I left. Arjun absorbed her words. She wasn't just a girl who needed a ride. She was someone standing at a crossroads, torn between duty and desire. I get it, he finally said. Feeling trapped. Wanting to make your own choices. She studied him. You do. He shrugged. Not the marriage part. But the pressure. Yeah, I know what that's like. For the first time, the tension in her shoulders eased. It's exhausting, isn't it? He nodded. More than people realize. They sat in companionable silence, sipping their coffee, letting the night settle around them. Then, softly, she said, I don't want to go home yet. Not tonight. Something in her voice, so quiet, so raw, made him pause. Arjun met her gaze. Then don't. She tilted her head. And where exactly should I go? The words left his mouth before he could second-guess them. My place. Just for tonight. She searched his face, as if weighing the sincerity in his offer. Then slowly she nodded. Okay. And with that single word, everything changed. The drive to Arjun's apartment was quiet, but it was a different kind of silence now. Not awkward. Not uncertain. It was charged, humming with something unspoken. The air between them felt heavier, thick with possibilities neither of them dared to voice yet. When they arrived, Arjun led her inside, flicking on the warm glow of the living room lamp. His apartment was neat but lived in. Books stacked haphazardly on the coffee table, a jacket draped over the couch, the faint scent of cedarwood and fresh laundry lingering in the air. Anaya stood in the doorway, hesitating. Are you sure this is okay? Arjun nodded. I wouldn't have offered if it wasn't. She let out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. Thanks. He gestured toward the hallway. Bathrooms on the left if you want to freshen up. I'll get you something dry to wear. A few minutes later, she emerged from the bathroom wearing one of his oversized t-shirts, the hem brushing against her thighs. Her damp hair was loose, curling slightly at the ends. Arjun had seen beautiful women before, but there was something about her in that moment, soft, unguarded, that made his breath hitch. You're staring, she said, a teasing lilt in her voice. He smirked. Maybe. She walked over to the couch and sank into it with a sigh. I don't remember the last time I felt this relaxed. Arjun sat beside her, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from her skin. Sometimes, all you need is a little distance from the world. She turned to him, her gaze searching. And what about you? What do you need? He hesitated. No one had asked him that in a long time. I don't know, he admitted. But right now, I don't mind figuring it out. Their eyes locked, and something shifted. The pull between them, subtle at first, became undeniable. Her fingers grazed his, a hesitant touch, as if waiting for him to pull away. He didn't. Instead, he reached for her, brushing a damp strand of hair from her face. His touch lingered against her cheek, and she leaned into it, her breath unsteady. I don't do this, she whispered. Not with strangers. Arjun swallowed hard. Me neither. But they weren't strangers anymore, were they? Slowly he leaned in. When their lips met, it was tentative at first, a quiet question waiting to be answered. Then, as if something inside them had snapped, the hesitation melted away. The kiss deepened, slow and aching, filled with all the emotions they didn't have the words for. Her hands found his shoulders, pulling him closer, and his fingers traced gentle patterns along her spine. When they finally broke apart, breathless, she rested her forehead against his. Stay, he murmured. She didn't hesitate this time. I will. And just like that, neither of them felt lost anymore. The first thing Arjun noticed when he woke up was warmth, the gentle weight of Anaya curled against him, her steady breath tickling his skin. The room was bathed in soft morning light, filtering through the half-drawn curtains, casting golden patterns across the bed. For a moment, he just lay there, watching her. In sleep, she looked peaceful, free from the worries that had burdened her the night before. He traced his fingers lightly along the back of her hand, committing the moment to memory. As if sensing his gaze, Anaya stirred. Her lashes fluttered open, and when her eyes met his, she smiled, a slow, lazy smile that made his chest tighten. "Morning," she murmured, stretching slightly. "Morning," he echoed, his voice still thick with sleep. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The silence was comfortable, filled with something unspoken yet understood. Then, reality set in. Anaya exhaled, glancing toward the window. "I should probably go soon." Arjun tensed, but he kept his voice even. "Do you want to?" She hesitated, fingers idly tracing patterns on the sheets. "I don't know," she admitted. "Last night felt different. But I don't want to mistake the moment for something it's not." Arjun sat up, running a hand through his hair. "And what do you think it is?" She looked at him, searching his face as if trying to find the answer in his eyes. "Something I wasn't expecting." He nodded slowly. "Me neither." Anaya sighed, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "I still have to deal with everything waiting for me at home. My father. The marriage talk. All of it." Arjun leaned forward, resting his arms on his knees. "Then face it. But you don't have to do it alone." She blinked, surprised by the certainty in his voice. "You barely know me." He met her gaze, without hesitation. "I know enough." Silence stretched between them again, but this time, it was different, charged with a decision waiting to be made. Finally, Anaya reached for his hand, lacing her fingers through his. "I don't want this to be just a one-night escape," she confessed. Relief flooded through him. "Then don't let it be." A small smile tugged at her lips. "You make it sound easy." He squeezed her hand gently. "It doesn't have to be complicated." She studied him for a long moment before nodding. "Okay." A knock on the window startled them. It was the wind rattling against the glass, a reminder that the world outside hadn't stopped for them. Anaya exhaled and sat up. "I should go, but I'll call you." Arjun smirked. "You better." She leaned in, pressing a lingering kiss to his lips before slipping out of bed. As she dressed, he watched her, knowing this wasn't goodbye. It was just the beginning.